from the car, now!
Officer, what's the issue?
That uniform, where did you get it?
It's mine. I'm an active Navy SEAL.
You got proof?
I do. Why am I being stopped?
Hands on the vehicle! No more talking! Hands on the vehicle, now!
Deputy Sheriff Travis Holbrook had served with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department for 9 years when a single call on a quiet Friday night would shatter his career and eventually land him in federal prison for 58 years. At 34, Holbrook had experience, confidence, and a belief in his own judgment that would prove dangerously flawed. That night, at a gas station on Highland Avenue, he saw a black man in a Navy uniform and immediately decided it must be fake. The man, however, was Lieutenant Commander Darius Mitchell, a decorated Navy SEAL with 16 years of service, multiple combat deployments, and medals for extraordinary heroism. Yet Holbrook, ignoring Mitchell's credentials, dismissing his military ID, and arresting him in full dress uniform, set in motion a chain of events that would trigger a Pentagon investigation, federal charges, and a trial exposing nearly a decade of documented racial profiling. Holbrook's record told a story San Bernardino County had largely ignored. 14 complaints over 9 years, all involving people of color, followed a predictable pattern. Black families barbecuing in the park were harassed for permits and threatened with citations. Hispanic teenagers skateboarding were detained and searched without consent. Asian businessmen photographing architecture were questioned about terrorism. Black college students driving through town were pulled over for suspicious behavior, their cars searched with nothing found. Despite clear documentation, the county treated each incident as isolated, never connecting the dots to see the pattern. A deputy whose biases dictated who belonged in public spaces. Evaluations noted Holbrook was results-oriented but overly aggressive, could benefit from de-escalation training, and needed cultural sensitivity. But these notes never became consequences. Some complaints resulted in forgotten reprimands, others in mandatory training that he never internalized, and many were dismissed despite witness testimony. 0 suspensions, 0 demotions, 0 terminations. Holbrook continued patrolling unchecked until he targeted someone who couldn't be ignored, someone whose credentials carried Pentagon weight, someone whose arrest would finally demand accountability. Darius Mitchell was 38 when Holbrook decided his Navy uniform had to be fake. Mitchell's journey had begun at 22, desperate to escape San Bernardino's cycle of poverty and violence that had claimed 3 of his high school friends. He endured grueling basic training at Great Lakes, then Bud S. SEAL training where 80% of candidates quit. Mitchell persevered through 6 months of brutal physical torture, cold water immersions, and sleep deprivation designed to break him, eventually earning the coveted SEAL Trident. His first deployment to Iraq in 2009 saw him clearing buildings, hunting high-value targets, and witnessing teammates under fire. Afghanistan followed, then Iraq again in Mosul, fighting ISIS. He served in Syria, Yemen, and Somalia on missions most civilians would never hear about. In 2016, an ambush in northern Iraq left 8 SEALs pinned down. Mitchell wounded himself, ran into the kill zone 3 times, dragging teammates to safety and holding a position alone under heavy fire for 12 minutes. Every teammate survived. For his heroism, he earned the Navy Cross, the Purple Heart, and the Bronze Star with Valor, among other accolades. His chest carried ribbons and medals representing years of service, sacrifice, and courage. That Friday night in October, Mitchell was driving through San Bernardino in his Navy service dress blue uniform, the formal attire worn for ceremonies and official functions. He had just left a memorial service for a fallen teammate at Naval Base San Diego, a brother killed in a training accident. Exhausted, emotionally drained, and reflecting on the friends he had lost, Mitchell was simply heading to his mother's house to surprise her, eager to embrace a brief moment of normalcy after months of classified, dangerous deployments. At 10:47 p.m., his fuel light came on, and he pulled into the Chevron station on Highland Avenue, a late-night stop serving shift workers, truckers, and locals. Stepping out in his immaculate uniform, Mitchell looked every bit the decorated officer he was. Polished shoes, perfectly aligned ribbons, the Navy Cross, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and the Gold SEAL Trident shining proudly. His posture was flawless, a product of years of rigorous military training, a stark contrast to the exhaustion etched on his face. He swiped his card, began fueling his car, and let his mind wander to his mother, her peach cobbler, and the fleeting comfort of being home. Unbeknownst to him, someone was watching. Someone who saw his uniform, saw his skin, and decided something was wrong. At 10:51 p.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's Dispatch received a call. An anonymous teepster, refusing to identify themselves, reported a suspicious person at the gas station on Highland Avenue. A black guy wearing what looks like a military costume who has been standing there for a while. That single call would set off a tragic and preventable chain of events, one that would shake the community, the Navy, and eventually the nation. He looks threatening. I think he might be impersonating a service member or something. Can you send someone to check it out? The anonymous caller's words set everything in motion. The dispatcher asked the routine questions. Was the man doing anything threatening? Had he approached anyone? Was he armed? The caller hesitated. No, but he just looks suspicious. That uniform looks fake. I don't think he's really military. The dispatcher logged it. Suspicious person, possible stolen valor, and sent the call out. It was assigned to Deputy Travis Holbrook, patrolling just 2 miles away. He responded immediately. This was the kind of call that activated every bias he had built over 9 years. A black man occupying a space where, in Holbrook's eyes, he didn't belong, wearing something that seemed too legitimate, too authoritative, too accomplished to be real. In Holbrook's mind, the story had already been written. Black man in military uniform late at night at a gas station, probably homeless, probably mentally unstable, probably bought the uniform online or at a thrift store. Stolen valor, impersonating an officer. That was a federal crime, and Holbrook intended to investigate. He didn't pause to consider it might actually be real. He didn't think about calling the base to verify, didn't question why anyone pretending to be military would wear a perfectly fitted, expensive dress uniform with the correct medals and ribbons. All he saw was a black man in uniform, and to him, that had to be fake. At 10:54 p.m., Holbrook pulled into the Chevron, lights flashing, already approaching the situation as a criminal matter rather than a routine check. Mitchell had just finished pumping gas, closing his fuel door, and printing his receipt when he saw the patrol car rush in, red and blue lights cutting across the concrete. Holbrook stepped out before his car even stopped, hand resting near his weapon, posture aggressive, confrontational. He walked straight toward Mitchell. Mitchell turned, stomach sinking. He had been in tense situations before, not exactly like this, but close enough to know the drill. "Step away from the vehicle. Hands where I can see them now," Holbrook barked. Mitchell raised his hands slowly, palms visible, calm and controlled, the voice of a man trained to de-escalate high-stress situations. "Officer, I'm just getting gas. Is there a problem?" Holbrook stopped 3 feet away, eyes scanning Mitchell from head to toe. He took in the uniform, the ribbons, the insignia, and saw nothing real. "Military costume isn't funny. Take it off right now," he ordered. Mitchell's heart sank. 16 years of service, multiple combat deployments, medals earned under fire, and he was being told his uniform was a costume. He recognized the assumption immediately. This wasn't about the uniform. This was about the color of his skin. "Officer, this isn't a costume. I'm an active duty Navy SEAL. I just came from a memorial service at Naval Base San Diego." "I'm on my way to visit my mother," Mitchell said, steadying his voice. Holbrook's expression didn't change. "Sure you are. Stolen valor is a federal crime. You're impersonating an officer." Anger began to rise in Mitchell, but he kept control, trained over years to remain calm under life-or-death pressure. "Sir, I'm not impersonating anyone. This is my uniform. I earned it. I can show you my military ID, my orders, anything you need to verify." "I don't need to verify anything. I can see what's happening here," Holbrook shot back, stepping closer. "You bought that uniform, put on some fake medals, and now you're pretending to be something you're not. It's disrespectful to real service members." Mitchell's jaw tightened. He had held dying teammates in Iraq and Afghanistan, been wounded saving others, and this deputy was accusing him of disrespect. Other customers were starting to notice. A man at pump 3 slowed, watching. A woman inside the store pressed her face against the glass. Mitchell reached slowly into his jacket pocket, deliberately so it wouldn't be misinterpreted. "Officer, I'm reaching for my military ID. It's in my inside pocket." "I'm going to show you my credentials." Holbrook's hand edged closer to his weapon. Mitchell froze, then carefully produced his common access card, the standard military ID. "This is my military ID. Lieutenant Commander Darius Mitchell, United States Navy. You can call Naval Base San Diego NCIS. Verify everything." Holbrook glanced at the card for maybe 3 seconds and handed it back. "Anyone can print a fake ID. They sell them online for $20, he said flatly. Mitchell stared. The ID had holograms, security features, an embedded chip, the Department of Defense seal, every security element as real as possible. "Look at the ribbons, the medals," Mitchell urged. "Navy Cross, Purple Heart, Bronze Star with Valor, you can verify each one." Holbrook dismissed it. "Looks fake to me." Mitchell's patience wore thin, but he stayed controlled. "Sir, just make one call. Call the Naval Special Warfare Command Duty Officer. Call NCIS. Verify my identity. I'm not asking you to take my word. Do your due diligence. I don't need to call anyone." "I can tell what's real and what's fake," Holbrook said. Bias had hardened into impenetrable assumption. Every piece of evidence, ID, medals, calm demeanor, was filtered through Holbrook's perwritten narrative. Criminal impersonator, not Navy SEAL. The gas station cameras recorded everything. Mitchell stood calm, hands visible, voice measured. Holbrook remained aggressive, dismissive, refusing to examine evidence. Customers pulled out phones. The situation unfolded live in front of witnesses. Mitchell tried one last time. "Officer Holbrook, reading the nameplate, I'm Lieutenant Commander Darius Mitchell. 16 years in the Navy, 12 as a SEAL. My orders are in my car. I'm asking you to verify my credentials before this goes further." Holbrook's voice hardened. "Take off that uniform right now. You're not authorized to wear it. Remove it immediately." Mitchell froze, processing the demand. Strip out of the uniform he'd earned through blood and sacrifice under fluorescent lights in front of strangers. "I'm not removing my uniform, sir. I'm authorized to wear it. I'm an active duty officer." Holbrook's hand moved toward his radio. "Dispatch, this is 3 Adam 12. I need backup at the Chevron on Highland. Suspect is belligerent, refusing lawful orders. Possible stolen valor situation." Mitchell's hands remained raised, visible, non-threatening. His voice carried across the parking lot, caught on multiple phones. Calm, controlled, yet defiant in the face of baseless accusation. "I am not belligerent. I am not refusing lawful orders. I am a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy, and I am being unlawfully detained." Mitchell's voice was calm, steady, professional, but Holbrook stepped closer, invading his space, unbothered by the truth before him. "You're impersonating a military officer. That's a federal crime under the Stolen Valor Act. You're under arrest." The irony was staggering. Here Holbrook stood, accusing a decorated war hero of a crime, while he himself was committing multiple federal offenses. Deprivation of rights under color of law, false imprisonment, assault on a service member, felonies that would later send him to prison for decades. But Holbrook's bias was complete. He simply could not see it. Mitchell took a slow, deliberate breath, the kind drilled into him through years of combat training, when controlling one's reaction could mean the difference between life and death. "Sir, I have served this country for 16 years. I've deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. I've been wounded in combat. I've saved lives. I've earned every ribbon on this uniform. I am not a criminal. I am asking you one more time, verify my credentials before you make a mistake that destroys your career." Holbrook sneered. "Your career is over, buddy. You're going to jail." 2 more patrol cars arrived, lights flashing, sirens winding down. Deputies Maria Santos and Jeff Coleman stepped out, scanning the scene. A black man in full military uniform, hands raised, calm and unthreatening, facing a colleague who was aggressive and confrontational. Santos approached first. "Holbrook, what's the situation?" she asked. "Stolen valor," Holbrook replied. "He's impersonating a naval officer. Refuses to remove the uniform, refuses lawful orders." Santos looked at Mitchell, at the meticulously arranged rows of medals and ribbons, at the gold seal trident, at the proper rank insignia on his shoulder boards. "Sir, can you identify yourself?" Mitchell's voice did not waver. "I am Lieutenant Commander Darius Mitchell, United States Navy SEALs. I've shown Deputy Holbrook my military ID. I've asked repeatedly to verify my credentials through Naval Base San Diego or NCIS. This is an unlawful detention." Coleman stepped closer, examining the uniform in detail. The ribbons were in perfect precedence order. The Navy cross at the top, something no outsider could replicate. The trident gleamed, authentic gold. Holbrook, did you verify his ID? It's fake. Anyone can see that, Holbrook insisted. Santos pulled out her phone. What base are you assigned to, sir? She asked. Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, SEAL Team 3. My commanding officer is Captain Raymond Torres. Tonight's duty officer should be Lieutenant Hayes. You can call the quarterdeck. They'll confirm my identity in 2 minutes. Santos started to dial, but Holbrook grabbed her arm. We don't need to call. I'm telling you it's fake. Santos pulled away, expression hardening. Holbrook, if there's any chance he's legitimate, we verify. That's procedure. He's not legitimate, Holbrook shot back. He's black, look at him. You really think he's a Navy SEAL? His words hung in the air, recorded by multiple onlookers and captured on gas station cameras. The implicit bias, previously only implied, had been made explicit. Santos and Coleman recoiled, shocked. Mitchell closed his eyes for a moment. There it was, the truth that Holbrook had danced around for years, finally spoken aloud. Coleman's voice dropped low. Holbrook, what did you just say? But Holbrook was committed, too deep to back out. I'm arresting him. Subject, turn around, hands behind your back. Mitchell had a choice: resist, argue, make it physical, or comply, document everything, and let the system handle what came next. He chose the latter. Slowly, deliberately, he placed his hands behind his back. I am complying under protest. I am Lieutenant Commander Darius Mitchell, active duty United States Navy SEAL. This arrest is unlawful. I've committed no crime. I've shown proper identification. I've requested verification through official channels. This is being recorded by multiple witnesses and security cameras. Holbrook snapped the handcuffs onto Mitchell's wrists with deliberate force, metal cutting into skin. Mitchell winced but said nothing. The handcuffs pressed against his uniform, wrinkling the jacket and pressing the metals into his chest. Santos stood frozen, phone still in hand, watching what felt catastrophically wrong. Coleman's face showed pure horror. Holbrook marched Mitchell toward his patrol car, one hand gripping his arm, the other near his duty belt. The pristine uniform, immaculate just minutes ago, was now wrinkled and skewed. His tie pulled to one side, ribbons pressed askew. A decorated war hero, a Navy Cross recipient, being paraded across a gas station parking lot like a common criminal. Onlookers erupted. He's really in the military. We saw his ID. Call the base. This is wrong. They shouted. Holbrook ignored them all. Some tried calling 911, but the dispatcher confirmed deputies were already on scene. Others felt powerless to intervene against an armed officer. Santos and Coleman stood by, conflicted, uncertain, witnessing their colleague commit a federal crime. Why do some officers see black men in uniform and assume it's fake? The drive to San Bernardino County Sheriff's Station took 11 minutes. Mitchell sat in the back of the patrol car, hands cuffed, the metal biting into his wrists, partitioned from Holbrook, who drove in silence, likely drafting his arrest report in his head, convinced he had done the right thing. Mitchell gazed out the window at the streets of his youth, neighborhoods he had escaped through military service, now driving through them in handcuffs. At 11:19 p.m., they arrived at the Salaport, the secure garage for prisoner intake, out of public view. Holbrook opened the back door and pulled Mitchell out, leading him through the metal door into the booking area. A decorated Navy SEAL treated like a common criminal for simply existing in uniform. The booking sergeant Louis Morneau, a 19-year veteran, froze as Holbrook led in a man in full Navy service dress blues, medals perfectly aligned, Navy Cross on top, gold seal trident gleaming. Holbrook, what did you arrest? Morneau asked, disbelief in his voice. Holbrook claimed stolen valor, saying Mitchell had refused orders to remove his uniform. Morneau approached, examining the uniform closely. Everything was authentic. Medals in proper precedence, tailored uniform, polished shoes, trident real gold, shoulder boards correct. Mitchell calmly stated, I'm Lieutenant Commander Darius Mitchell, United States Navy SEAL. I've shown my ID repeatedly, requested verification, and this detention is unlawful. Morneau pulled the ID, checked holograms, embedded chip, duty seal. The ID was real. He called Naval Amphibious Base Coronado. The duty officer confirmed Mitchell was an active SEAL assigned to SEAL Team 3. Morneau's face went white. Holbrook had arrested a decorated Navy SEAL. Within minutes, the chain of command was alerted. Captain Raymond Torres at home, NCIS, Naval Special Warfare Command, and the Pentagon. By 12:30 a.m., military lawyers were preparing to respond. Sheriff Robert Decker was called and rushed to the station, realizing the enormity of the error. Mitchell stood calm but resolute, explaining the unlawful arrest, the public humiliation, and refusal to verify credentials. Decker released him immediately, dropping all charges. Meanwhile, Mitchell's record was being reviewed from San Diego to Washington, D.C. Every mission, deployment, and award highlighted the absurdity of his arrest. Mitchell had enlisted at 22, survived the brutal Bud-S Hell Week, earned his Trident, and served 6 combat deployments in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and Yemen. In 2016, during an ambush in Iraq, Mitchell, wounded and bleeding, dragged multiple teammates to safety under heavy fire, held a position alone for 12 minutes, and returned fire until his ammunition ran out. He earned the Navy Cross, Purple Heart, Bronze Star with Valor, and countless campaign medals. Yet despite this extraordinary record, at a gas station in San Bernardino, he had been treated as a criminal simply for being black in uniform, his heroism questioned by a deputy blinded by bias.